What an amazing day. What amazing
Yeah,
programs.
so much so.
And we're just going to catch you up on a few things. We got a couple more things before we close out, but I'll turn it over to Michele.
Yeah, I know we had approximately, oh my goodness, 150, 160 participants. So we're just waiting for everybody to come back into the room. But I'm just going to say, I don't know how everyone chose which room they were going to go to. There was so much rich knowledge and just mana'o and ike that was shared in every group. So I don't know how you guys chose your sessions, but just so grateful for all the speakers who were able to be here today. Just mahalo, mahalo. So amazing.
And the good thing is we record everything, which will be available. So for those that you missed, you'll have access to them, which is great. We'll have them up on the website down the road, probably sometime in December.
Yeah. And unfortunately for the CEs, you needed to be here present during the sessions. However, they will be made available, like Paul said. So please do your evaluations. That really drives the partnership in their movement for future sessions. And the evaluation is going to be shared here momentarily.
And also, you guys want to find out more information, if you're new to Hoʻikaika, go onto the website, hoʻikaikapartnership.com. There's different ways you can get engaged. If you just want to get the newsletter, you can sign up for that. If you want to email Deb directly, the coordinator, you can send email to her and ask questions. There's an opportunity to just sign up and attend meetings. And then also you can join a committee. There's various committees within the partnership, like the planning committee that put this on. We have a community relations committee. There's various committees you can see on the website also.
And so you'll see there's the link that has been dropped in the chat box for the evaluation. And how you folks are what a absolute treat, blessing, gift, whatever you want to call it. But on top of having this conference that has CEs for you, that there's going to be a $25 gift card just for doing the evaluation. How is that? So awesome, yeah. And if you guys know, don't get them. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just do it. Like I said, it does help the partnership to drive what they do for future events. And so it's such a amazing offering, just everything that the partnership is giving to everyone.
Yeah, and the key is, thanking the sponsorships. Everyone always wants to make sure they thank the sponsors. The thanks goes to all the people on the planning committee. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and to the presenters that come and share their time and talent.
Yes.
With the group. I mean, without that, you could have $1 million in sponsorships, but without the people doing all the behind the scenes. So a big mahalo to everyone on the planning committee. Great job.
If we can all I'm going to mute myself, but let's just give a round of applause for our planning committee, our presenters. Pa'i lima, everyone. So awesome. And if you can see everybody, you can see all the shy ones because they're like, oh my gosh, just keep moving. But thank you, everyone. So I wanted to also say, when you do the evaluations, there'll be a question on there that asks if you need or want the CEs, and please be mindful that the moderators were keeping track. We hate to do that, but because of the platform, it is on this Zoom platform, and we were given strict guidelines from the NASW Hawaii and Alcohol and Drug Abuse Division to be sure that everyone is here attending, so they were monitored for that. And to allow grace, please, for the many hands who put this event together for everyone that has to go back and do the evaluations, and of course the CEs, they will get back to you in terms of distribution of those CEs.
And we're not done yet. We have a couple of more amazing presenters coming on to wrap this up. So Who do we have up next, Michele?
We have Noelani Ahia.
Aloha kako. Oh, how's everybody feeling after today? That was amazing, yeah? I don't know about you, but I have like brain overwhelm and inspiration and so many things going through my mind, coursing through my mind and taking notes and making plans and trying to figure out, where do we go from here? So before we talk about that a little bit, let's all just get up and have a little stretch, okay? If you want to step away from your camera so you're not flashing anybody, that's all good. But just get out of your seat wherever you are. Oh. Stretch up, reach up, oh, shake it out. It's so important to move our bodies and whew, release some of the tension from sitting in the chair or wherever you were sitting. Reach down and touch your toes and swing a little bit if you need. Oh, just get yourself moving. Ooh. Can make noise if you need to. Good. Are you ready? You can sit back down. Okay, I needed that. So where do we go from here? What's next? How do we take all this information and incorporate it into our lives, into our families, into our work process? We talked a little bit this morning about the internal personal work and then the external community work. And I wanted to talk a little bit about those concepts of internal and external so we can use this framework as we're thinking about how we move forward with this information. And for me, I think about it a lot in terms of nature, in terms of how Hawaiian culture sees nature and our relationship to it. It's also very similar to the Taoist practices that I learned in Chinese medicine school. In Chinese medicine, when you're looking to diagnose, we look at the body as a microcosm of nature, which is the macrocosm. So we might look at a mountain and we see the sunny side of the mountain, and then we see the shady side of the mountain. We know that we have a windward side and a leeward side. We have the North Pole and we have the South Pole. We have all of these opposite energetics that govern us. And the same goes, it goes for the entire universe and the planet, but it also goes for us internally. And so when we're talking about these internal and external situations, it's important that we are connected enough to our own self, to our own being, to be able to receive the sensory input from the outside world, know how to filter it, know what to let go of, what to keep, how to stay aligned, how to remain balanced. So we're going to focus on that for a little bit here. And we're going to do some sort of embodied work to center ourselves, to reground ourselves, to cleanse ourselves. So we are going to start with just sit in your seat, sit firmly on your chair or whatever you're sitting on. I want you to plant your feet into the ground and just start with a few deep breaths. You can inhale through your nose. Bring that breath all the way down to your na'au, to your belly. And exhale gently. Just let the breath fall out. And another deep breath in through your nose. And let it sink down to your na'au. And gently release the breath. One more time. Deep breath in through your nose. This time I want you to send it all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And I want you to exhale through the bottom of your feet. And I just want you to think about anything that you don't need, that's not serving you, whether it's from the past or the present, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental. Just let it fall out the bottom of your feet into the aina. The aina can receive it and transmute it. And now that we're connected to the Aina, and you can close your eyes if you want and just listen to my voice and pay attention to your inner world. Now that we're connected to the Aina, I want you to send from your heart and your na'au a mahalo and aloha to the Aina that's beneath you. Even if you're on the 3rd floor of a building, it doesn't matter. Shoot your energy all the way down to the Aina. And thank the Aina that feeds you for nourishing you and caring for you. And think about this as a regular practice to build pilina with Aina, to have a relationship, to say mahalo, to have gratitude for being here. Wherever it is you are. I do this when I travel. So when I go someplace else, I thank the Aina of that place. I thank the people of that place. And I will often ask, whose bones are these in this place? Whose iwi are buried here? Who are the people who have generations and centuries and long genealogies that create the vibration of this Aina that I'm on? And I'll introduce myself as a visitor and ask permission. So as you're connecting to the Aina where you are, you've let go and you've released maybe a few layers of things, I want you to just bring that energy back up from the Aina, bring that nourishment back up into your center, into your na'au. You can bring it up as high as you need. Whew. Take a good exhale. And then I want you to think of the piko on the top of your head. And we're going to just open that up and let all the goodness from above flow into us and fill us up with mana, good juju. And just imagine it starting to go into all of your cells. Starting to make space where there's tension. Just noticing where there's tension. Sending your breath there. And letting this good energetic flow come into you. Good. And then I want you to put your hand over your na'au, which is below your belly button-ish. Everybody experiences it a little differently, but it's your gut-ish area. And I want you to just ask your inner self inside your na'au, what is my true nature? What is my true pono? And just listen. See if you get an answer. What is my true nature? Now ask yourself, is there any conditioning or any practices in my life or any barriers that are preventing me from walking in my true nature, from caring for my true nature? Anything preventing me from expressing my true nature? Ooh. We're all going to have them on some level, or maybe have struggled with them in the past. But when you're ready, you can sit with this as long as you need. Some people get answers right away, and some people get visions or images. It's all good. Some people think they hear something, but they're not sure. I want you to grab a notebook or a journal if you have something there, or just a piece of paper, and just write down what yourself told you is your true nature. And what are the barriers to standing in your true nature, expressing your true nature? Does anyone want to share in the chat? Ah, my nature is nature. I love that, Dr. Val. My nature is kind. It's beautiful. My nature is to nurture. I love that. My nature is calm and easygoing. My nature is love. My nature is empathy. I get busy and forget to be like the tree. Yes, me too. My nature is compassion, creativity, respect everyone's journey, earnest, kindness, learning. I love it. Ah, such beautiful natures. Yeah. Mine usually comes out love and aloha, but sometimes it's different. Ah, barriers. Barriers are bills. Yes, yes, yes. What else do we have here? Shoulding on myself. Yes, I do that a lot too. I should do all of these things myself. Yeah. Oh, my nature is to protect and love, joy and compassion. This is really, really beautiful. Barrier is lack of self-worth. To be present. Yes, we are all so very busy, aren't we? Especially post-fire. My nature is enjoying my ola. I love it. E ola kumu. Barrier is stigma. Yes, we have lots of those. Being misunderstood. Okay, awesome. This is great. So one of my barriers to living in my true self is definitely the shoulding and all the things on my to-do list, not being present. But I often ask myself, what are the conditions that created the busy world that we live in? Does it have to be like this, or is there another way? Did all of our ancestors live like this pre-contact? So busy that they didn't have time for this? Did our ancestors have bills? They certainly had kuleana, and they certainly had, taxes to pay, so to speak. But it was different. It was a different world. Barrier code switching throughout the day. Yes, I'm familiar with that one. I'm not good at social. Yeah. The code switching is a rough one. I just want us to think about this as an exercise in decolonizing and starting to look at what is the conditioning that keeps us in these spaces where we're not functioning in our true self. It could be religion, it could be capitalism, in the sense that we live in a system where we have to work for money, unless we're independently wealthy, which is probably none of us in this room. There's a story about a Hawaiian woman from Ni'ihau, and in the early days of the kingdom, even pre-kingdom, taxes were owed to the government, but they were paid in kalo. They were paid in ulu. They were paid in lauhala mats. They were paid in kapa. They were paid in whatever it was that was your service and your craft, or your personal gift to the community. What was your kuleana? That's how you pay taxes. But at a certain point in time, and this was brought up in some of the talks today about colonization and the missionaries and the money system that was implemented. At a certain point in time, money was required to pay taxes. You could no longer give a lauhala mat. You could no longer bring a kaua of uala, however many pounds of 40 pounds of uala, sweet potatoes. You were suddenly forced to go get a job in order to make money so that you could pay taxes. And that was the beginning of capitalism in Hawaii. And I bring this up because we're getting to a precipice on the planet where the way things have worked for the last 200, 300 years is not working, with climate disaster and all of the economic hardship, and the haves having more than ever and the not haves having less than ever, and the divide just getting bigger. And I say this because I want us to think about is there a different way to create a world that we would all actually really be able to be ourselves, to be our true selves, to be pono in without those limitations? And I'm going to posit that the way that we do that is not going to happen by necessarily changing the government structures. It's going to happen by us building community. It's going to happen by us continuing those practices that we did on the Mauna and that we started after the fires, where the community comes together and figures out, what is my gift that I can bring to the community? That's going to be my value add. For me, it was medicine and organizing people. For some people, it's building. For other people, it's hauling heavy things on a boat or on a rig or what have you. For other people, it's growing the food. For some people, it might be cooking the food. But there's a model for finding a way back to our villages, whether it's your big ohana or it's your neighbors in your neighborhood. But there are ways we can start implementing these practices right now through sharing our gifts and receiving from others. It cannot be one-sided, give, 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 because then you just put yourself above everyone as the one who has. If you don't receive, it's not equal and it's not reciprocity. And it doesn't have to be give and take with the same person. Sometimes I give to those folks over there, but they're not going to be able to return to me in the same way. They're going to give to somebody else and someone else is going to give to me. And if we're all in this state of reciprocity, the way that nature is in reciprocity with itself and with us and gives us abundance, whether it's the rain, the water, the mea'ai, the food, all the mea, the haumea, the kamea, all of these things can start to come back into balance and we can start to find our path. We can start to find our pono again when we have a safe space to do that. But at this time in history, it's going to be up to create those spaces. Maybe entirely outside of the government systems, maybe in combination with them. It depends on who's running the government, but the point is that we don't need the government to be able to create these systems. This is the type of thing, like after the fires, when there wasn't a tremendous amount of government help in the initial days, there was a breakdown in communication, the community was able to assess the needs and just step in. Now, it was crisis mode and it was panic mode and there was a lot of heavy, intense emotions. But if we can continue to build that infrastructure a little bit every day, we can make systems change on our own just by taking care of each other. So that looks like, maybe your neighborhood starts something where 2 or 3 days a week, one family cooks for everybody. Can you imagine if you're a single mom and you're trying to make dinner every night, or you got to drive through McDonald's, or you got to make choices that you don't really want to make, but that's all you have time for? Can you imagine if there was home cooked meal a couple nights a week from your neighbors, and then you can give back in a different way when it's your turn? Maybe you do group babysitting. There's so many ways, and a lot of our communities in Hawaii already do this, to be honest, of course, especially our Pacific Island communities, but I think we can start organizing in a larger way to make sure that the entire community's needs are met. Particularly our most vulnerable, like our unsheltered community, many of whom are Kanaka Maoli, which is way beyond unfortunate. Kanaka Maoli make up 10% of the population, but are almost 50% of the houseless population on our own land, in our own stolen land. So it's imperative that all of us find paths to be able to contribute in some way to the restoration of pono and justice to all of our people, especially our unsheltered, from keiki to kupuna, and our larger lahui as well. And we can do it. I believe we can do it if we start looking to our ancestors from all of our different traditions on ways that we can incorporate caretaking, community abundance, community aloha, as well as accountability. And you know, starting to create some protocols in our communities around relationship repair. And whether it's ho'oponopono or a Western version of mediation, we can start to do that work for our communities so that we can create harmony in our communities without having to necessarily go through the criminal justice system, without having to, you know, penalize people who are struggling. We can start to address our addiction issues by having access to land, and especially for our Kanaka Maoli and other Indigenous and Pacific Island folks, getting people back into traditional and cultural practices, which we know statistically helps as a protective factor, but helps to bring people back into their alignment and start to reconnect with their pono, with their true nature. Let's see. Okay, we are going to go to our pa'akai. Did everybody get some pa'akai? Or any kind salt will do. This is an exercise. It's not meant to be perfect. I learned after the fire that trying to do anything perfect is not happening, but we do the best that we can. With what we have, we make do. So we're gonna do a little bit of cleansing with our pa'akai. This is not a traditional Hawaiian pikai ceremony. If you want that, you can find a cultural practitioner to teach you. That's not what we're doing today, although it's not that different. But I just want you to know that, you know, you don't have to be a kahu to cleanse yourself with salt. Many, many traditions do this. So we're going to take our pa'akai and put it in our bowl. I know you can't really see them. There we go. I've got my pa'akai in there. Then we're going to add the water. It's so basic. Not hard. And then you can swirl it around. I know some of you are in offices with each other, not by yourself. That's fine. You can share your pa'akai and your umeke. And then I want you to just hold the pa'akai. It doesn't matter who's holding it. It can be just one person. And I just want you to, in your head or out loud, ask the pa'akai to please cleanse you, to continue to release anything you don't need. We would say hemo ka pilikia, or take the pilikia off, make it go away. And then thank the pa'akai and the vai. And then everybody ready to go? We good? Everyone got their pa'akai and their vai? Okay, it's so easy. You're just gonna, I want you to just put your hand in there and just drizzle a little on the top of your head. And I want you to brush down the back of your head. And then I want you to put some on the back of your neck. You don't have to give yourself a shower here. It can be a little or a lot if you need. But brush it on the back of your neck. Whew. And exhale if you need. Rub it on your shoulders. Drizzle a little down your back. Or if you have someone there with you, let them wipe it down your back. And wipe it down the side and the back of your legs. Or wherever you could reach to. No worries if no can. Good. Then we're going to come to the front. I want you to just wipe it over your forehead, especially this third eye area. I like to rub that third eye area and get it all clean. Whew. And then down your neck, across your chest. Oh, just open up your chest with it. And over your heart, especially if you've been sad or you've been having a hard time experiencing grief. Go over your lungs, brush down your belly, down the front of your body, down your legs. Oh, both sides. And then you can rinse both hands off. And then you can thank your pa'akai and your vai. Mahalo, mahalo. You can spray it on your hoa aloha, on your friend there. I see our moderators or our host having fun with the pa'akai. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, and mahu. That is it. It's super simple. And I wanted to do this with you because pa'akai is an amazing medicine. It's used all over the world. It's very important in Hawaiian medicine, but it has this capacity to cleanse, to clear, You could take your bowl, you could make a bowl every day and put it in the corner of your office or in your home if there's a place where it's contentious. And then at the end of the day, when it's kind of full of everybody's funny juju, you want to take it outside and you want to offer it to the Aina. Tell it thank you and let all that junk go so it can be transmuted back in the Aina. You can also just go to the ocean. If you're like me, you make excuses and you don't go often enough. I mean, every time I go to the ocean, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do this every single day. And then it'll be like a month before I go again. But honestly, it changes me immediately. So sometimes when I know I can't get to the ocean, I do this. Even better, I keep a small little dish in the shower with pa'akai. Oops, I don't know where to hold it where you can see it. Anyways, yeah, just a little glassware with my pa'akai in the shower. Every time I take a shower, I drizzle it over my head, I rub it down my back, my sides, my arms, wherever I want. And every single time it makes me feel clear so I can start the next thing. So how is that for everybody? You good? Did you feel it? Anybody not feel it in like this wahine is cuckoo? Okay. You you can work with it on your own because it's, you know, it's a lifelong practice and you can do it anywhere you want, anytime you need, in whatever way you want. I wanted to do it this way and not do it like a traditional Hawaiian pikai because you know, there's so much that goes with that and there's rules and sometimes we feel like, oh, I can't do that because I don't know the right way or I don't know the right prayer or I don't know, like I'm going to do it wrong. This is about removing all of that barrier and just throwing some salt on yourself. It is very similar to sage and smudging. You can do sage and smudging. You can do whatever works for you. But I wanted to make sure I left you with a tool that was easy, that you could do anytime you need to recenter yourself and to cleanse yourself and to get back in touch with that, what is my true nature piece? Because that's really where, when we all tune into our true nature and we're all functioning at that capacity, we can make magic happen and we can do better for our communities. We can show up better for our communities, for our ohana, for our loved ones. I saw this quote at lunchtime actually on Facebook that said, we're running out of emotional capacity because we're trying to do things individually that were meant to be done collectively. And I felt like that mana'o was so perfect for today because this justice balance, malama pono, inside, outside, internal, external, contraction, expansion, you know, microcosm, macrocosm, thing that I'm feeling and fielding really is about the restoration of pono towards the balanced ecosystem with our kanaka maoli in balance and in harmony with the Aina, the Vai, the Kai, and all of our settler ally friends who live here, longtime generational families, all being able to have that connection, that community of care, that aloha, and really that ola, that life. So on that note, I'm going to pass us on. I'm so honored to have been here today and so grateful and humble. Thank you again, Hauʻoli Kaika Partnership. And I pass it back to you folks.
Mahalo. Noelani, that was amazing, amazing, amazing. And yes, Michele and I cleansed ourselves and then we cleansed each other.
Because he needs help. Sorry.
And I just want to extend our gratitude for sharing not only your time and talent, but more importantly, your passion and your heart with us today. You and all the other presenters. And I'm going to turn this over to my sidekick, Michele.
Mahalo, Noi. If we can, again, everybody, just pa'i-pa'i-lima for Noi. Mahalo, sis. I'll be seeing you soon. I want to call back to the space, Kumu Ekela. I mean, just, we're going to round it out with Kumu Ekela.
Mahalo nui. Well, I don't know, after Noelani sharing, what more needs to be said, except that maybe we'll circle back to what I started with this morning, about being prepared for the journey, preparation for our journey. And I just wanted to recognize that there are many that heeded the kahea. Yeah. Kahea is call. There was a call that went out for us to come together and to share. And when Noe was talking about, our emotional capacity is being, is running out, is being, diminished because we're not doing things collectively. I thought this was a great example of what it means to do things collectively, to come together, to learn from each other, to find out what's happening. And so at this moment, I'd like to ask you, what kind of pono have you gathered? Remember that in the beginning, I talked to you about pono being not just being righteous or good and kind, but the third definition of it talks about it as being gear, furnishings, supplies. So what kind of gear did you pick up today? What are the tools that you've gathered for the work that you do? And you can drop that in the chat as I share more, but really that's the question today, because there's a journey ahead of us. I saw someone said it's their birthday tomorrow, and it was a great way to start. We start every day. My grandmother would always say, you get to wake up in the morning and start every day anew. And that came from Lamentations 3. I didn't know it was biblical, but she would always say, you always got another chance. Try it in the morning one more time. So tomorrow we can start again on the journey and take all of this pono that we've gathered with us, because now we're better prepared to reach our destination. I wanted to share with you a mo'olelo. Back in 2019, the Va'a Makali'i, which is docked out in Kauai High on the Big Island, took a voyage over to Mokumanamana, Necker Island. And when the communities found out that they were going to take the Va'a, their canoe, over with their crew, a kahea went out, and the communities across the Pae'aina, and that means across from Kauai to Hawaii Island, all supported this voyage, and they were offering things. So there were no Costco runs. There was no running to the store to go pick up something to put on the va'a. Everyone came out to give whatever they had, whether it was ulu, uala, salad things, whatever they could offer. There were pigs being given, cows being given. And the crew of Makali'i started to do canning and bottling and freeze drying food. So much so that they were able to shave off 400 pounds from a typical voyage on a va'a, because all of these people came together to help them prepare for this voyage that they were going to take. So really the message today is all of us coming together, and we can thank Hauʻoli Kaika Partnership for the work that they've done to bring us all together, to prepare our hearts, particularly to Malama Pono, to sustain justice and harmony in our lives with our keiki and ohana that we serve. And so I'm looking at if anybody put in their things, their tools. There we go. We got some tools, but put it in. What have you gotten? What kind of gear did you collect for your journey? Let's see what you have here. And while you're doing that, I wanted to call upon my friend, Mr. Hauʻoli Akaka, to come back and join me in this final part of my sharing, because we wanted to go over that mele that he shared earlier, and allow you opportunity to also join in the melee. So I'm going to ask him to do it once, and then on the second round, we'll do it with you. Does that work, Hauʻoli?
I was thinking maybe we'll chant it twice each pauku. The first time you ho'olohe, and then I'll repeat it, and then we ho'opili, which is more our style of learning, yeah? Ho'olohe,
Yeah.
ho'opili.
Hiki
But
no.
before that, I just wanted to mahalo all of you. Noelani, mahalo nui for your opening and closing mana'o. That was so inspiring. And I was texting Ekela in the morning, Vehena, the opening, how I could see there was affirmation of how things spiritually align without us preparing or planning together. And this actually started yesterday when my darling here, we spoke, and I had no idea what this was about and what my role was going to be. But in just the first few minutes of our conversation, this mele wa kupumai, it just came forward from deep within me from a long time ago. And I started chanting it to her, and she said, "That's the perfect mele." And then today, Noelani, as you began to share, and Ekela shared her mana'o on pono and malama and the meaning of that, and giving us a grounding us in that mana'o. And then the olelo no eo on interdependence, yeah, and those resources. And you came on, and your mana was just the same, and your presentation was the same. And your mo'olelo, which touched my heart about your kupuna, it weana and wailing through you and that experience, years ago that drew you back home. And then the work that you do today that's grounded in honoring them and those Eva birds that showed up at that incident in that mo'olelo. That's all spiritual, and that's all affirming that is pono. What you do is pono. And when we all do pono things, everything kind of aligns together, just like what I witnessed today. So I'm sure whatever happened in between, I'm sorry I wasn't there present in the middle of the Vehena and this Panina, but I know that everything is pono just by looking at the response of all of you in your sharing and in the chat. So here's our mele. I think, my darling, you're gonna put it up again so we can all see. Again, mahalo ya Randy Kamuela Fong, my boss, who works for Kamehameha Schools and composing this mele so many years ago, which connects, reminds us that we all have a kuleana to this generation. You and I, we are Napua Kamale, and the generations to follow us, the Hanauna, our Keiki, our Haumana, those generations are Napua Kamale. But we have to look back to the past and look to our kupuna that keep us going and grounded. And we have to malama pono kekahi kekahi. So that is the beauty in the mana'o. Simple but profound, this mele. Okay, ho'olahe a ho'opili. Make sure your mics are muted, because then it'll be chaotic with all of us at the same time competing. Napua Kamale. Auhea e nā kamali I o ke au, nā pua kamale I nā ke kupuna. Auhea. Auhea e nā kamali I o ke au, nā pua kamale I nā ke kupuna. E puna vai. E puna vai ola e pipi I nei, me ka vai ho'oma e I ka hewa. E puna vai. He puna vai ola e pipi I nei, me ka vai ho'oma e I ka hewa. Mai hele. Mai hele ma ke ala po ele, uli pono I ke alo malama. Mai hele. Mai hele ma ke ala po ele, uli pono I ke ala malama. Malama pono. Mālama pono ke kahi I ke kahi, Aulu mehe koa I ka wao kele. Mālama pono. Mālama pono ke kahi I ke kahi, Aulu mehe koa I ka wao kele. Puana ke aloha. Puana ke aloha no nā kamali'i, nā pua kamale'i nā ke kupuna. Puana ke aloha. Puana ke aloha no nā kamali'i, nā pua kamale'i nā ke kupuna. He aloha no nā pua kamalei. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui, Hauʻoli, mahalo ia ʻoukou. We leave you with those words of wisdom, all that aloha for our keiki, for our ohana. Mahalo, have a beautiful and blessed day. Aloha.
Mahalo, everyone. I wanted to mahalo Hauʻoli, Kumu Ekela. If we can all just in one moment get on the same breath, and we're going to clap 2 times after that beautiful mele by Hauʻoli. Mahalo, everyone. This
Mahalo.
our time. However, we do have one last closing. We're all gonna do Hawaii Aloha, which everyone knows it's a song of unity for our people and for our aina, Aloha aina. And at the conclusion of the song, we're gonna ask that everybody come back to the space. And we're gonna have the words for everyone so everyone can follow through, but we're gonna come back into the space and we'll throw in the chat to what we want everyone to do at the end.
Rolling. Okay, we're rolling. Here we go. Take 7. E Hawaii e kuone hanaue, kuhome kulahivine, oli moawi na ponolani o. E Hawaii aloha Hauʻoli e nā ʻōpio Hawaiʻi nei. Oli e, oli e, oli e, oli oli e. Mai nā ahe, ahe makani e pāmai nei. Pāmai nei. Mau ke aloha, aloha Hawaiʻi. Kamaha o no luna mai, e Hawaii, aloha e. E Hauʻoli e nā ʻōpio Hawaii nei. Oli e, oli e, oli e, oli e. Mai nā ahe makani e pāmai nei, pāmai nei. Mau ke aloha.
Ooh,
What a beautiful way to end a beautiful day.
2 claps one more time, hana ho, and we all will eo.
A hui ho.
Eo.
Oh, mahalo.
Hello, everyone.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Mahalo.